Getting with some of the folks who raced with ISMA and MSS this past weekend. 3 big races on the Super Crown Nationals at Lorain Raceway Park in Amherst, Ohio. The guy who won the big crown at the end of the event joins us right now. Mark Sammut, with his win in the second race on Saturday, won the Perfection Fabricators Highest Weekend Points Finisher Award. It was an extra $500, and he gets to be the Super Crown Nationals champ. Let's see, he was third on Friday. They ran 2 features on Saturday. 7th in the first one, kind of went backwards from Friday, but then won in the second one. 20th place was his finish at Oswego in the opener. We'll talk about that in a little bit as well. London, Ontario is where we go. Mark Sammut is 51 years old. How are we doing today?
Great. How are you?
Doing very well. So sounds like we fixed what we needed to fix and finished out about as good as we possibly could down at Lorain.
Yeah, for sure. The car had a ton of damage after Oswego, and it was almost questionable whether we would even try and get there. But I mean, that's what you do when you have one of these cars, and there's only so many races a year. So it all turned out good because the car actually it took the hit a lot better than I thought it did. How hard it hit, I thought it would be a lot worse once we got it home. But it took it quite well. So that's something we can say for how the car's built, and really have to thank the Oswego Speedway and the safety crew, and the foam is the biggest thing there. I mean, saves cars, saves people, saves everything. So
you actually did get into the foam. I didn't realize that.
Oh yeah, I got into it hard. So
okay, you said the left front broke, and actually the tether grabbed the tire, and you said that kind of created some damage too.
Yeah, I don't know if it created the damage, but the tether kind of kept the wheel with the car. When the wheel come off, it slammed into the engine and even did a bunch of damage to the front of the engine. But luckily, nothing serious to the engine. So different oil pump and power steering pump and radiator, and away we went. So
there you go. Okay, so let's start on Friday night. You had one particular problem with the race car.
Yeah, we were just a little bit loose on Friday night. The car was pretty good. I don't think it was a whole lot worse than anybody else. I think Mike Mavetta was coming, but he had to start a lot further back than we did, so that makes it tough in a 40-lap race for sure. But, we were decent. Just we should have been a little tighter, but, we weren't going to touch AJ, but we ran with Rich Reed pretty much the whole race. And, we were right there, but, I mean, third was good after what we went through just to get there. So.
Yeah, and you said you went the opposite way for the second race, or that first race actually on Saturday. It was too tight. You went a little too far on that one, huh?
Yeah, kind of blew it. It means the sun was still up and everything else, and kind of misjudged it. No question about it. That's my fault. But fortunately, we got it right for the second one on Saturday. So.
Well, what time was it when you guys hit the track?
Oh, geez, that's a good question. But the sun was still up. It was still fairly bright. I would say it was probably between 7 and 7:30 when the first race went out, if not even earlier. So.
Mm-hmm. And that's a huge difference. So what would have happened? Let's say you didn't touch it, and you went into the night on the second one. Would the car be looser or tighter?
Oh, it'd be a lot looser, especially in Lorain. You loaded up with fuel for the feature. I mean, unfortunately, being 40-lap races, you don't have to put as much fuel as you do, say, for a 50-lapper at a big track like Oswego. But you still got to put more fuel than you normally carry, and the tires, every time you go out, they get another heat cycle, and they're wore out that much more. So, we had to change it quite a bit for the second one from the first one to try and get it right. So.
Okay. So for that first one on Saturday, then, did you know you were in trouble right away?
Oh, pretty much. Yeah. Lap or two in, I knew it was going to be a long 40 laps, but managed to hold on, and, so we got 7th out of it, which was good. And then we were lucky enough the way they invert the start of the second race as well, roll of dice. I mean, we were lucky that we got in the invert, as fortunately most of the cars did. I think we can thank Mo for that. So, anyways, but
that's right.
Yeah. So, anyway, we started 5th, I think, in the second one. But all in all, sometimes you got to get a break, and it worked out pretty good. So
that's nice. So, okay. Now, how much later was it when the second one rolled out?
It was the last race of the night, and the sun was down, and it was still fairly early in the evening compared to some nights. But like I said, the sun was down, and it was more a typical feature setup than what that we usually run at most of the tracks.
And nothing else was wrong. Everything was fixed perfectly on the car. We've gone through it. We're recording this on Thursday night, so we've had time to go through it, and everything looks good for the next race at Oswego?
I hope so, yeah. We haven't done a whole bunch yet, but we've checked all the basics and gone over the stuff, and hopefully we're in good shape for next Saturday. So.
Okay. So how do we make sure something like that doesn't happen the next time we hit Oswego?
Well, it was one of those things, an older part that we had here and probably didn't get checked properly when it got put on, and I did scrub the inside wall in the heat race trying to gain a position, which is my fault, 100%. Blame the driver, and I'm sure that's what finished it off, and then 12 laps into the feature, it come off, and that was that. So.
Okay. Did you feel it happening? Did it vibrate?
As I went into turn one, went to turn, and nothing was happening, and I seen the wheel come up, and I thought, so anyway.
Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Take your hand off the wheel. Were you in that type of position when you hit the wall?
Oh, yeah, and hope for the best. So.
Yeah, put your hands at your chest like that and then see. Did you know how bad it was right away?
It actually looked worse than it was. It looked pretty bad at the races, but, like I said, came home and strip all the bent pieces and have a look at what you got, and we were able to, fix it, without, like I said, it still wasn't good, but, I thought it was going to be worse, to be honest.
Okay. Did you have to fabricate any of these pieces, or did you have?
Yeah, just a small piece of the right front shock tower, and but then everything basically from the frame forward, axle and bumper and nose wing and all that stuff had to all be replaced. So.
Okay. As I'm looking at the standings, though, for that 20th place to start the year, I mean, I know it's way too early to even look, but you're second, you're 37 out. It doesn't seem like that really messed you up too badly.
Oh, fortunately, it is early in the year, so might get a chance to recover from that. I hope, but way too early to worry about points. And the last thing you want to do is start points racing, and then you're not.
That's true.
You're not racing the race, and then you get in even more trouble. So.
Well, what's the difference between because I know what it's like to points race. You got to stay out there and get what you can and try to finish. Well, what's the difference between that and what you were doing at the first race on Saturday with the 7th place? You were going backwards and you knew it. Isn't that kind of the same type of thing?
Well. Yes and no. I mean, anybody that's running one of these cars, they more or less give it all they got every time they're on the racetrack. But, yeah, I mean, at the same time, like you said, you don't want to get yourself in trouble, and especially when you don't have a good car, you don't want to try and make it do something it won't do, because that's when things really go wrong. But, I guess, it is a little bit different, but I mean, like I said, especially being we had to race again, certainly wasn't going to take any chances, in the first one with a bad car. So.
And that's the next place I was going. Do you race a little differently? Because I know sometimes tracks will have rainouts, and they'll actually run a rainout feature and then run another one later. And I've always noticed the rainout feature tends to go a little cleaner because people don't want to mess their stuff up. Is it that simple?
Oh, I don't know if it's quite that simple, but it's pretty close. I mean, as I said, nobody's going to take any chances they probably don't need to in the first one, and they're saving it for the second one because that's everybody wants to get there.
So you might be able to, rather than say what I say, maybe we get a little more aggressive in the second one. Is that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I would say everybody does.
There we go. I knew I'd get a consensus out of that at some point. So like we said, Oswego Speedway is June 29th. There's actually a rain date on Sunday, June 30th for that. It's a 50-lapper this time. And then this is a track I wanted to chat with you about real quick as we look ahead. Lorain Raceway. Everybody tells me this is tire management, this is old school, knowing when to race and when to relax for a couple laps. Is it like that?
Yeah, especially on Saturday. Saturday's a long race, and Berlin, beautiful racetrack, but it's really fast, and it is hard on tires. And the shape of it, it's you carry a ton of speed all the way around. And like I said, it is hard on tires, but it's a great track, and that's the great thing about ISMA, running a different track every week. Every track's got their own characteristics and what you have to do to get around them, and gives somebody that was good the week before might not be so good next week type of thing. So
I don't know if you've seen the pictures. Have you seen any pictures from Oswego Speedway the last couple of days?
No, I haven't. To be
honest. The new
honest.
foam is up all the way around.
Great.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. So you don't want to be the first guy to break up one of those foam blocks, right?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But like I said, thank the Speedway, thank everybody that supported getting new blocks, because, like I said, what that has saved over the years,
I can imagine.
Nobody could even count it. So
yeah. Parts and people, and of course, great safety staff up there. These people, they really know what they're doing. So again, that's on the 29th. Berlin that we were just talking about, that's the 12th and 13th, and there is a rain date on Sunday the 14th for that one as well. I appreciate you making time for me, man, and maybe I'll see you at Oswego's. But we'll see how things go, okay?
Sounds great, Doug. Thank you.
And remember, if you're watching this on ISMA, we're going to have lots more stuff here on the MSS website. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. We'll have a lot of stuff coming up this year. Always great talking to you, Mark. You take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.
Okay, thanks, Doug.